What's up, y'all? Following up our score predictions, we are back for Week 1 player props and fantasy. Go ahead, EJ. Give us a breakdown of what this episode will include.
So, guys, this is a special episode that we're going to be doing for you guys every week. So we're going to break it down into 6 total fantasy players, 3 total props each, all right? And you're going to be able to put those props together for a 6-leg prize pick or underdog parlay that's going to give you 25 times your money. The way it's going to work is Seb is going to start off with going 2 fantasy players during the 1 o'clock games, 2 fantasy players out of all the 4 o'clock games, and 2 fantasy players out of the Sunday night football game, and then I will follow it up, and then we will go to our props after that. So, Seb,
all right,
take us away with your 1 o'clock fantasy football.
1 o'clock fantasy football, my very own quarterback in 2 out of my 3 leagues, Lamar Jackson, playing a young Houston defense. He should have 2 touchdowns, 100-plus rushing yards.
That's bold.
200
rushing yards.
And 250 passing. So, Lamar Jackson, got to start him because he's going to go off against Houston. Easy.
So, potentially 400 scrimmage yards.
Yes, sir.
Potentially.
All right. My next one for the 1 o'clock games, Miles Sanders. Again, another one of my players that I drafted in a couple of my leagues. Again, another weak, young defense he's going up against. He will score a touchdown. 100% will score a touchdown. The Falcons also give up an average of 3.5 touchdowns on running offenses, which the Carolina Panthers in this game, I don't see him throwing the ball a lot because of Bryce Young, but
they're going to ease him in.
Yeah.
They're going to ease him in.
Easy. So, Miles Sanders, 80-plus yards and a rushing touchdown. Take him. You got to start him. Now, for my 425 games, for my fantasy player, my number 1 fantasy player, this one, the Cheetah, Tyreek Hill. 1+ touchdown. I think he will have 2, but I put 1+ because he might just have 1. But, however, he's going to have 100 yards at least. This is going to be the number 1 target with the Chargers' weak defense, in my opinion. Tyreek Hill should be the number 1 target for this one. So, yeah, Hill is one of the best, turning a 5-yard catch into a 20-plus yard gain. So, it doesn't take a long shot to him. You just got to give it to him right there, and he'll do the rest. Start Hill, no doubt about it. All right, next one for the slate of games, Aaron Jones. Going to be the heart of the Packers offense this week and for the whole season. Aaron Jones will have 2 touchdowns, over 100 rush yards because they're just going to keep on feeding him the ball. And the Bears don't have a good run defense, as we said on our last episode. So, and like I said, Chicago not so well established yet as a team. Aaron Jones, take him on that note.
I hope you're right because I got him starting in Dynasty. But I'm going to have to disagree with you on that 100 rushing yards, and I think it's going to be 100 scrimmage yards.
I say rushing yards.
All right.
Oh, crap. I should have put scrimmage. I'm going to stick with it, though. For my Sunday night game, CeeDee Lamb. Not so strong Giants pass defense. He will score a touchdown at least with 85-plus receiving yards. He is the number 1 receiver for the Cowgirls.
I could see.
So yeah, I think CeeDee Lamb's a lock at that point. Put him in. Now, this might surprise a lot of people of why I would put this as a fantasy player. People don't see this as a high value. Cowboys defense. If you have the Cowboys defense for this week, you gotta have them in your lineup. It is crucial. They're playing. They are one of the best rush defenses in the NFL with Micah Parsons up front. Expect a lot of sacks throughout the game. Giants suck. Weak offensive line. Okay? Gotta have that in mind. And it's going to be a tough night for Danny Jones. Really tough night with that Cowboys defense. Also, like EJ said, they already had a solidified backfield. Now they added Stephon Gilmore, one of the best in the business. Cowboys defense for week 1. Maybe for a couple more weeks. But for week 1, it's a lock for me. All right, let's see your fantasy players for...
Before we do that, I agree with what you just said. And when we were talking about the Cowboys and Giants game in our Week 1 Sunday predictions, which you guys should definitely go check out, I was thinking to myself, man, as we were talking about this game, both of us were like, defense, turnovers. I was thinking to myself, man, I might go check the waiver wire and see if the Giants or Cowboys defense, kills me to say it, but more so Cowboys defense, hopingly pick them up, and maybe start them, because I picked up the Patriots defense just out of ego because I was drafting with this guy, but probably wasn't smart playing my own Eagles. All right, y'all. So, for my 1 o'clock games, my first fantasy player that I think is a smash is Calvin Ridley. All right? Calvin Ridley goes up against the Colts. I looked up the Colts depth chart, and I only knew one name on there. And that's usually not a recipe for success. Also, last year, they were 30th in passer rating allowed, and they were 31st in quarterback completion percentage allowed. That means there was only one other team in the NFL that allowed more completions than them. They were bottom 3 in both those categories. That's horrible, and they lost Stephon Gilmore.
Yep.
The Jags are showing off their new toy, and Calvin Ridley is going to go bananas, no less than 17 points. Guarantee it. The only way I don't see that happen is if he doesn't get his and the Jags are just running the ball. Now, for my second player after Calvin Ridley is Chris Olave. I think Chris Olave is in a position to smash. He's playing the Titans. I don't think the Titans have a very good secondary. It's in the dome, so they don't have to worry about weather conditions. Derek Carr is going to break out with his new team, I believe. And I just think the Titans secondary is weak, and Chris Olave is going to smash. Check his player prop at 56.5 yards on Underdog. I think that's a smash. Take advantage of these young rookie or second-year receivers with low player props.
I love that.
That's not my props.
Because I got Chris Olave in our league, Honey Pot.
14-man.
Our 14.
Is he your number one receiver?
Yeah, he's my number one receiver. So I like to hear that a lot.
So whoever's playing Seb, I hope you got another receiver to combat his, because I got Chris Olave putting up some points.
Good.
Now, moving on to my afternoon players in the games, I have Mostert against the Chargers.
Yes, another one I got.
I know.
Perfect.
I know.
Perfect.
So I think the Chargers, they've been notorious for having a weak run D the past 3 years. I smash whatever running back is playing against the Chargers. I'm doing it this week with Mostert. Jeff Wilson's out. Devon A-Chain's banged up. He may play, but Mostert's getting the heavy workload, and I think this game, he definitely gets in the end zone. Guarantee rushing touchdown for Raheem Mostert, and fantasy play for sure. Now, we're going to stick there, and we're not leaving that game. All right?
Ooh, okay.
And my next play for that same exact game is Justin Herbert. With a game set at 50.5 over-under points, 50.5, that's pretty high. And it's in a dome. It's in LA. So, once again, don't have to worry about weather conditions. Both offenses putting up points. I just think this is the perfect situation for Justin Herbert to put up some points, especially with no Jalen Ramsey. So, with all the weapons the Chargers got and that high 50.5 total, I got Justin Herbert as a quarterback one this week.
Okay, I like that.
Now, moving on to my Giants and Cowboys, my fellow division rivals. I don't like talking good about y'all, but I'm forced to right now, okay? And my two fantasy players, excuse me, yeah, it's just choking up. Nature don't want me talking about these teams, man. But Darren Waller, 100% I think is going to go off this game. I think it's prime time. Darren Waller tends to play good in prime time, other than that Chiefs game last year against the Raiders on Monday Night Football. Other than that, when you watch him primetime, I think he smashes. And I think Danny Dimes is going to feed him the ball because they are going to be losing in that game and in a negative game script the whole time. My second play for them is what Seb said, the Cowboys defense.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with what he's saying. I think they're going to score a whole bunch of points, especially if defense gets a premium year league. I 100% agree that the Cowboys defense is going to do good and is a must play in this matchup, week 1.
Easy. All right, now going to our props. I'm going to give you my 3. EJ will give you his 3. You could make a 6th leg out of this. Don't blame us. Things happen, but we like these a lot, and we put a lot of time and effort into getting these spot on. So
you don't have to make 6 legs, by the way. You could take 2 of our. You can take 1 from me, 1 from Seb.
3.
You can just take 3 of mine, none from Seb. I recommend that, but you don't have to.
All right.
Then also you can go 2 and 1, whatever you'd like, but go on. This is just a recommendation.
Yeah. So my first prop, coming from the 1 o'clock games, I should say, Kirk Cousins over 257.5 passing yards versus the Tampa Bay defense, which is weak and injury prone. Kirk Cousins will have a huge game, and also he got Justin Jefferson to throw that ball to. That's an easy week for him. So I think Kirk Cousins lock right there for me. Going to my next one, coming from the 425 games. So this prop for me could hurt or break me because also he's a fantasy player offer me too. Austin Eckler over a half touchdown. Austin Eckler gets into the end zone. Austin Eckler gets into the end zone.
He changed his prop, but it's all right.
Yeah. Austin Eckler gets into the end zone. He had 13 touchdowns last year. I mean, why not put him in? Miami rush defense not strong in the beginning of the year in past history. So, why not? Austin Eckler will get into the end zone, I think.
His prop was Jalen Hurts half rushing touchdown over his pass.
Whoa. I'm saving that for our game of the week episode.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry.
But I am changing that because I gotta have a Patriots player in there because I have no Patriots players in there.
Think with your heart, not your mind.
All right,
it's risky.
All right, so that's my prop. Lock that in right now. Now for my Sunday night game prop. Again, another running back, Tony Pollard, half touchdown over. Got to go over. Primetime game versus division rival. No Zeke. He's the guy. Run game will be at the top. It's going to be a top movement of the offense. Hands down, Tony Pollard's going to have himself a career night. Lock that in. Half touchdown, Tony Pollard.
All right, thank you, Seb. I like those picks, not going to lie. I like those picks a lot. All right, so for my 1 o'clock game, my pick is kind of piggybacking off of Seb's. And I have not the quarterback, but who he's throwing the ball to, Justin Jefferson, going over 92.5 receiving yards. I went to the last Bucs game, the preseason game, and they played most of their starters on defense, except for Levante David. I saw pretty much everybody out there. And on the first drive of the game, Josh Johnson went 3 for 3 and threw a touchdown pass. They scored in 3 plays.
Okay.
On the Bucs starting defense.
Damn.
So, dude, I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, did he really just go 3 for 3 and score 3 touchdowns? Scored touchdown in 3 plays? Like, what is going on? So I got Justin Jefferson going over 92.5 at home. That crowd's going to be bumping, and I think he's going to be grittying all over Tampa Bay.
Good.
All right. So, for my 425 game, my prop is my boy Devontae Adams. I love him, man, but this year he just makes me nervous, and I hope he proves the world wrong because he is my boy. But I'm doubting him, and I got him for under 79.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, okay.
He snapped against Surtain last year. I don't know if you guys saw, and he scored the game-winning overtime touchdown, and then proceeded to go up to the crowd and say, "He's too young! He's too young!" Well, after an off season of seeing, "He's too young!" I think that motivated him, and Pat Surtain is going to be coming for Devontae Adams' neck, holding him under 79.5 rushing yards. And he's not going to be getting much help from Jimmy G and the bunch. Now, for my 8 o'clock Sunday night football prop, I got, this is a weird one, but PrizePicks offers it. Excuse me. Brandon, I always choke up when I'm about to talk about the Cowboys. You should know about talking about the Cowboys because I'm choking up. But Brandon Cooks over 23.5 receiving yards with his first 2 receptions. So he needs to go over 23.5 receiving yards in his first 2 receptions. Brandon Cooks is a deep target.
Yeah.
He doesn't run shallow, short routes. So the only way I could see this going bad is if he runs a screenplay for negative yards.
Or CD gets hot and they just keep throwing him the
Yeah,
ball.
but then that would think Cooks doesn't even get a pass. So,
Yeah.
like I'm saying, I think they're going to be all over CD. CD runs those intermediate routes, all right, those close to the line of scrimmage. And Brandon Cooks is a deep ball. So, I honestly think Brandon Cooks can get 23.5 within 1 catch, but they're giving you 2. Brandon Cooks over 23.5 receiving yards within the first 2 catches. So
again, put these props together however you want. We are pretty confident with these. I think they're going to hit. We will make a leg for him as well and post that screenshot here.
we're putting our money where our mouth is.
But yeah, so that was our player props for week 1. Next episode will be our game of the week episode when Patriots take on the Eagles. It will be a special episode. It won't be long. It'll just be a couple things with score predictions, props, this and that. And after that, we'll give you guys our Monday night game, which I am excited about. So, stay tuned to those.
Don't forget, put our 3 props together. 3 and 3, 6 times 25 your money. If you miss one, you get double your money. Go Birds!